What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We are going to talk about the stuff with Adam Warlock and these Doom ISO requirements. And before we do any of that, though, today was going to be a really good day for Marvel Strike Force stuff. Our alliance was finally going to push over 60% in the Doom raid, which we did. We finished up at like 62, 63%. We broke tier 2 on the Doom raid. Fantastic job to everybody in the alliance. We were all super excited about it. And then also this, I was informed I was going to be given a shout out as the featured content creator for the strike time video today. So I knew this was coming up, and I was super excited about all this. I was like, all right, this is gonna be a fun day. We're gonna ride this. It's Friday. We're going to the weekend. Let's have a good time. So it it's a little frustrating with the news that we had come today with the Doom and the ISO requirements, and we're gonna get into that in a moment. But I mean, we have to talk about Adam Warlock. He looks absolutely incredible. He's part of this new Infinity Watch team, Infinity Clock, Infinity Watch, something like that. To Infinity Beyond. I can't remember off the top of my head, but this guy looks great. It looks like he's gonna be a fantastic striker character, prolonging all negative effects on his basic ability, besides ability block and stun, because prolonging those would be overpowered. But this looks great for a basic ability. I imagine this is going to be great as a striker. Applying ability block to enemy villain protectors. It disrupted to all enemy protectors for 2 turns. This looks like a big counter to Black Order. Unavoidable. Yeah, it looks great here. This with Infinity Watch and applying stun and chain to apply a stun to another person. The Safeguard ability even looks great too. Safeguard on a character prevents them from having their buffs being removed. You can still copy and transfer like you can with Silver Surfer, or I imagine with Skill Military, but you can't dispel on that target anymore. So that's going to be pretty cool to see how the Safeguard ability comes in. Infinity Watch, they get like this bonus max health, bonus armor, lowering damage by 10% for all enemies. I feel like with the way that this team is looking so far, just with the kit on Adam Warlock, I would not be surprised if they're trying to give us another arena meta team here. In order to unlock Adam Warlock, you need to use a team of the 4 X Factor characters. So Shatterstar, Longshot, Polaris, and Multiple Man, and Jubilee. So you need a legendary to unlock this legendary, much like you needed Black Bolt to unlock Ebony Maw. So I don't know, maybe there's similarities here to that. We'll see how that all goes out, or how that all works out. But this was interesting where now they're doing this Mythic Legendary event, and now you have to have required ISO class levels on these characters in order to unlock or be able to do these missions to unlock Adam Warlock. So you need class 3 ISO 8 on all 5 characters for just to unlock Adam Warlock. Level 4 ISO for the 6-star unlock, and level 5 for the 7-star unlock on Adam Warlock. Not a big fan of requiring the ISOs. I get what they're trying to go for here, and for the most part, I mean, most of these characters for X Factor, it's not like X Factor and Jubilee are bad characters, so the ISO class here is not going to be a waste, but it still feels a little weird to be requiring these, especially you also have to require these gear tier these gear tiers as well. So you have to have gear tier 14 on all of them just to be able to do the 7-star, as well as the ISO level 5. So uh, I can't say I'm a big fan of these gear requirements for this. We'll see how it all pans out. I mean, at least they're not requiring you to put like ISO 5 on hand characters or put them on Nobu. Imagine having to put ISO 5 on Nobu to unlock Phoenix. How absolutely crap that would be. So, yeah, so it's then we get to this, and ugh, I I got most of it off my chest earlier today. I'm not thrilled at all with this. Like I said before, we broke 60% in the Doom rate today. That was big. We were great. We were feeling great. We were starting to get into that process of, okay, if we can get this, we can do another raid this week with 60%. Let's start looking at possibly pushing for 100%. What can we do for that? Let's start figuring out who's going to go into what lanes, at least hopefully. That was the plan. And this update to the Doom raid has really kind of thrown that out the window. And let's just read what's going on here. So the first big thing is that they're linking this to ISO 8 so that they will now be requiring certain ISO levels on your characters to progress through the Doom Raid. The first 5 nodes in each lane, which is your set of 3, your 2 normal fights plus the boss, or no, I'm sorry, it's up to the second boss in the Doom Raid. You only need ISO level 4. That's not bad. ISO 4, it's a bit of a grind, but it's doable. And most of the characters you're bringing in the Doom Raid anyways are usually ISO 3 to ISO 4. That's not bad. What gets really bad about this is now you're required to have ISO level 5 to progress beyond that second boss node. And I cannot, for the life of me, figure out why they're doing this. They say it's to get like testing and figure out like who's doing what so they can balance future content better. I don't buy that for a second. To me, this feels like we aren't getting enough on ISO sales, so we need to push it more. Maybe that's just me being cynical. I don't know. And for those of you who've come to subscribed to the channel because of the shout out and strike time today, I apologize. I'm usually not this negative or cynical. It's just with the news today, we have to talk about this, and it sucks. And I know everybody's gonna be talking about, but we just have to talk about it. So you will have to get ISO level 5, green ISO level 5 on your characters to progress past that second boss node. For an alliance like ours today, which just pushed 60%, now we're facing the prospect of we can't push 60% again for a while because we don't have people. We have several free-to-play players in our alliance. They're not buying ISO offers. They're not buying these ISO orbs, these ISO ion packs. They're not whaling on ISO. So now they have to stop and just focus on ISO classes for these characters for the Doom raids. And it's not like we're taking bad characters in, but now it's that plus now it's this whole encouragement of hoarding that's coming back. They're trying to fight hoarding, but then they roll out something like this where someone who's hoarded up ISOs and these orbs and everything now has a much better chance of someone who has been actively spending and buying ISO and spreading out across their roster. They've gone wide with their ISOs on their roster, but now someone who's hoarded can now afford to very easily go tall on that ISO instead of wide. So now they can very much easily go into this Doom raid now with ISO 5. And that's kind of the problem, is that they're trying to fight hoarding, but this is the kind of thing that can encourage hoarding at the same time. But another thing that comes up with this, and this is something I brought up in the Envoy chat, the big question I keep getting from people is why? Why do this why do this now for Doom? They're adding difficulty sliders. So we're going to get more than like Doom 1. We're going to get like Doom 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. Why add the ISO challenges for the base Doom raid? If you want your players to be investing in ISO, it's not rewarding. It feels like a kick in the chest to suddenly force them to progress backwards. Now we can't do Doom 60% purely because we didn't whale on ISO. We could do it before, but now we're locked behind a paywall because we don't have the ISO 5 classes. Like it's so infuriating, and I'm upset a little bit, but I'm also just kind of mad. And like I said before, it's going to be a good day. And then this nonsense dropped. And while I should have been being like, hey, awesome, got the shout out, I've been having to fight in the Envoy chat and argue and be like, guys, what is this nonsense? So for me personally, I'm not in too bad of a place. I've got a lot of ISO 5. Thanos, Ebony Maw, Silver Surfer. Those are 3 Mystic characters I use all the time. Dr. Doom, I'm going to use him in the Mystic as well. Kestrel, she's a skill tech character. I can use her. I've got Corvus and Proxima both at ISO 5. I can use them for skill if I have to. Longshot, I can use him for mutants. I've got Symbiote Spider-Man and Anti-Venom at ISO 5. Again, I can get by with them. I'm going to need to take some other characters up. If we just go through this like one by one, I'm usually using symbiotes for my Doom raid, and now like I've got ISO 3 on Venom. I'm gonna have to really invest in him. I can make a push for Scream, but the problem is I just dropped a bunch of ISOs on Heroes for Hire, so now I'm in a bad spot. Carnage is Brawler, and I'm definitely not ready to go there because I was pushing ISO on Iron Fist. So I've got work to do there before I get a full symbiote squad back up. Let's see, what else do we have? Skill. I'm like all over the place. Yeah. So Kestrel, Corvus, and Proxima, I'll have them. I need to work on Night Nurse and Red Guardian now to get them back up, and I can use these 5 for now until I get Zemo back up and use him for my skill teams. Because I'm basically carrying my set of lanes for skill. I'm able to 2-shot the boss node pretty easily with my skill characters, and I'm helping. I was like a big reason we were able to push on 60%. So it felt really satisfying for me to be able to help carry my guys through those skill nodes and get that wrapped up. Kestrel, Doctor Doom, Minerva, all of them have ISO 5. I'll try to work on Doc Ock and Ghost and get them pushed up to ISO 5 for the tech roster. But yeah, this is the big problem is there's no real, like, I can't. They gave rationalization in the Envoy chat for this, but it just doesn't hold water with me. And I basically told them as much, and I was like, guys, there's no reason to require ISO 5 for a raid that we are already progressing on. If you want to add that to later difficulties and, kind of make people push for ISO on those, by all means, I can support that a lot more. I can't support now suddenly cutting off access that people already had because they didn't have the right ISO nodes. And yeah, I mean, we'll see. Cerebro said he's going to take the feedback we gave to the studio team on Monday. Hopefully we can get them to change their minds on this. Fingers crossed. But again, if you guys are here brand new to the channel because of the shout out and strike time today, thank you so much for subscribing. I promise the rest of the videos will be far more positive and uplifting, but we just had to talk about this today. Let me know what you guys think of this stuff down below. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time.